Or
All right, welcome. This is episode 6, week 5 recap of the Boone Trail Fantasy Trail. I'm Matt, along with
JT here. I'm back.
Mike here. Go Panthers. Take that, Haley.
Oh, jeez.
Let's
bring it home,
You've been
Matt.
doing so well.
All right. I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're so happy you can be here. As many of you, if not all of you know, we are now on iTunes podcast. Haley, I know you don't like that.
Turn your phones down.
That's all right.
Not me.
But you know what? It would really help us out, guys, if you could leave us a review on iTunes. Right now, we don't have any.
Oh,
They tend not to highlight podcasts of without any reviews. And I mean, who wouldn't want to listen to us talk about our 12-team fantasy team? Our fantasy league?
Tomorrow, just out of curiosity,
I can't believe they let us on.
would they highlight one with like 4 reviews? Because that might be the future.
Maybe if it's a slow week, we might.
Yeah, we got a lot of slow weeks happening these days.
But, with our hot takes, you never know.
Oh, that could do it right there. Get my own special show. Ooh, a hot with Mike Scarano.
All right, so week 5, week 5 was into the first week. The first week.
It'll be a whole segment. You're wrong, JT. You're wrong. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
All right. It's the first week where we have actual buys. I know we kind of had that one weird bye week 1 because of the hurricane, but it hurt some teams. Some teams had to be active, had to drop some people they didn't necessarily want to drop. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen going forward. So let's start out with our first matchup, and that was Angela taking down Casey. Now, I will say it looked like Casey was going to win this a large part of the week.
Yeah.
Angela put up 123 compared to Casey's 116. Casey had no one else on his bench.
That was it for him. It's hard. Palmer is just not looking hot this year. Look for Arizona maybe to be in the quarterback market during the draft this year because it's just not happening.
Now, but with that said, Casey made a couple sweet moves. I mean, Ed Dickson, are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
Ed Dickson?
Okay. Do you realize Ed Dickson had, 178 yards?
175, yeah.
He had not had that many yards in a season since 2013.
It's true. That's something. He's getting a lot of Olsen's looks. Cam goes heavy on the tight end, and if Cam is clicking, look for Dickson to have continued production.
The fact that Casey stood a chance with playing 2 tight ends that were both well past their prime is astounding.
Okay.
Look, but you know what? I'll say Angela. She keeps on putting up points. Angela actually had the high score of the week.
Yeah, congrats.
I know it was a little bit lower scoring week, but Prescott looked amazing. This is best game Hopkins had in 2 years.
It's funny when you look at Hopkins because JT drafted him last year. Sorry to bring up any painful memories, and really just didn't perform well at all. And Watson is the real deal, and the way things look right now, look for him to just have a huge season.
And you know what? We might get into this later. Shepard got hurt, but he may have also twisted his ankle into the number 1 starting role of being the Giants' number 1.
Oh, he got that much better. Absolutely. The Odell injury, I'm not sure. The Giants' offense does look a little bit anemic, and I'm just not 100% sure that it's going to be huge. But then again, look for him to step up in production. I agree with you there.
But we've kind of gone back and forth.
Saving grace for Ange had to be Dak, and that was a double-edged sword for Casey. I mean, on top of the fact that Dak put up a fantastic week, Casey had to be rooting for him, but also rooting against him. And then on top of that, has Dallas still lose at the end of the game. So he really got the worst of all possible scenarios.
You know, an interesting take that I heard is some people were suggesting that he should have somehow pulled a Westbrook and kneeled at the 1 yard line. But you were down at that point where Westbrook just let the clock run out. So I don't know. Which is a classic fantasy play that people have talked about for years.
You know, we'll talk more about it later, but we've kind of gone back and forth on Ant, and it looks like she might be top half of the league to stay.
Oh, I had her ranked pretty high.
Yeah, It's hard to argue. The results are there, and she just had the top scoring week with Jordan Howard doing much nothing. I mean, only like 3-4 players did well for her, and she still put up a top score.
Right.
On a positive note for Casey, and I know it's hard, you know, us both being in the basement here, Bell put up some numbers for him here. McCaffrey is definitely part of the offense, got his first touchdown. I know Parker didn't do much for him. Ed Dixon, though, I mean, he's the starting job right now.
Yeah, that's a small silver lining.
Well,
hey, I think things are looking up for Casey. He had one of the top scores of the week.
He did. He was in the top 6.
So, I mean, it hurts to lose that kind of weekend. It was one of the best weeks his team had put together.
Still got that bagel in the win column, though. Who's next, Mal?
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Michael Thomas takes down Colin.
Oof.
A rough one.
And you know what I think has to really bother Colin more than anything is the Texans gave him -2 points, where he had the Jaguars on his bench with a 27.
That being said, his defenses have just been paying dividends for him all year, and it was kind of about time for one of them to come up, maybe not with a negative, but it just seemed like as far as that was concerned, he was making the right choice, and it was going down perfectly every single week.
And he loses Charles Clay.
Yep.
This week. Do we know how long he's going to be out for?
Jay, you know that
month or
offhand?
2. Yeah, I'd say a month is what they're predicting. I mean, Tamal, he had a tough call with that defense. I think that's a good point. You know, it's easy to, with hindsight, to go back and say the Jags would have been a better one. The Jags have been fantastic this year. Texans have been okay. Too tough, you know, original on paper.
But it's Pittsburgh at home where they're generally very productive. Who pictures Ben Roethlisberger throwing 5 interceptions in one game? Nobody called that. Pittsburgh's offense at home is generally very good.
Yeah, at this point, though, I think the Jags are an every week play.
Okay.
Even, you know, I mean, they're top scoring defense in the league. Texans are now, you know, -2. Might as well have listed how many star players they lost in the first 5 minutes. It's a bloodbath for that defense now without their pressure up front. They're going to be in some serious trouble.
So, I mean, maybe that clears him up, though, at this point to hit the waiver wire. You might be able to keep Clay on the bench, drop the Texans defense, and I don't know, it just gives you a little room to play. Hey, look, I still have him ranked really high.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. I mean, and in the end, he went as Gurley went. First bad week Gurley had, and he lost. You know, you give a mediocre week to Gurley and an okay week from his defense, and he's got a chance at winning here. He didn't have a bad week. He just had a weird week.
I want you to remember, you know, Gurley is an every week play. But the one thing I'll say about Seattle's defense, that thing's for real. That thing's for real. They're pressuring quarterbacks, their run, and they're unbelievable. I was actually kind of calling the Rams to win that game, which I was wrong. But I think the Rams actually still look pretty good. They almost got it.
How about Michael? Got to be feeling so much better. Getting Cam 2 weeks in a row with major games. Two nice wins for his home team. He's got to be loving that. Nothing better.
And just the fact that Cam apparently looks like he's on track. You know, you were worried a little bit with Mariota being out, questioning where we're going to go, but I couldn't see not going with the hot hand from at least for the time being.
Yeah.
It looks like he just got a new number 1 back, too, with Javorius Allen, Terrence West being hurt, and he might have another one with Wayne Gallman.
Things on the up and up here, my friend.
Yeah, he's still got to be worried about Ajayi. And honestly, I'd be worried about Cam playing on Thursday night. I don't like the Thursday night game.
Oh, I hate the Thursdays.
I
Watching
don't
last
like
week
it.
was just brutal. Just
Well-
brutal. I mean, they all looked out of sync. He dealt with it last week too with the Mike Evans.
And I've listened to an interview with Ray Lewis, and he said this. He said, your body just will not heal up just from the regular wear and tear, not even an injury, just regular wear and tear of the week. Your body will not be healed by Thursday.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a nice turnaround for Michael, though. Rough start to the year. He's really pulled it together. A pretty good score, even with a 0 from Ingram.
Yeah.
And, Colin was due for a down week. I don't think anybody's worried about his team right now.
Not at all. What's the next one, my friend?
Next, we have JT losing again.
JT, your Russell Wilson score kind of hurt you there?
Yeah, I know this is going to be hard to believe, but if I made the right play at quarterback and tight end, I would have won. I know that is
Watson score.
Astounding to hear. But I am
JT, the fact that you have 3 quarterbacks, I find to be the humorous part. The part that no matter what happens, you never pick the right one, and you gave yourself a ton of choices.
I didn't know if that would help. Apparently, the answer is no.
But you have to be happy with Gordon.
But
his first breakout. Hogan's best receiver in fantasy right now.
Up there, yep. But I'm thin. I'm thin beyond that. Had a couple guys on buys, made the wrong choices elsewhere. Was really excited about Smallwood. He goes down with the injury. Looks like
you made the wrong choice on tight end too.
Well, that's what I said. Wrong quarterback, wrong tight end. Yeah, those two. If I make that right call, I beat him.
Now, can I ask you, why do you have Cook on IR?
Just as a reminder to myself of, it's kind of like hanging somebody in a village so that the others can see.
The stocks. We're making a public example here, my friend.
I'm well aware that he's not coming back this year, but the other guys they need a reminder that enough's enough.
Look,
well, if someone else gets hurt, you can move them out, move that guy in. It's not that big of a deal there.
Look, and I will say this: Jake did not have a good week this week. Look, he put up the second highest score in the league.
Great at the top.
But really, he Wentz had 50 points because he got most of those 31 points in that first quarter.
That's true, but there's a quarterback who's the real deal right now, man. That's an A+ draft pick, buddy.
And
that's a great one. And Fournette has been an absolute monster.
That's an A+. They're both A+ draft picks at this point, man.
The rest of his team, I mean, mediocre at best.
He's relying a little bit heavily on New England. Again, that was a Thursday night game, as you were just discussing. It depends. And, Brady could go on track on this, and those numbers could shoot right up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Serrano, is for your top 2 receivers, to average 11 points, 12 points. I mean, you're looking for more. You're
talking about my team with Cooper on it. I'd take that in a second.
Yeah, well, that's you. I mean.
Yeah, but Tamala, he does have Julio coming back eventually. Maybe after this bye, he's back healthy. And he can make some shifts in that area. I don't know if I worry as much about that. Cooks has been better than that
I wouldn't
most
say I would
weeks.
necessarily worry. I'm kind of worried for the rest of the league. I mean, if this is a down week for him,
all right, there's
and he
some
puts up the
perspective.
second highest score, I mean, look, he's able to do it. Toronto, I think part of your problem is you don't have that one player who will give you 30, 35 points.
No, I do not.
Well, you had him.
I like that, JT. We've been pretty good with each other, haven't we, tonight?
All right. Well,
I had him.
I don't know.
all right.
I wasn't even that bummed. I thought I was gonna pull it out, but at one point, 4 o'clock games. Russell Wilson. Give me a better game out of him.
I agree. He's been pretty inconsistent this year, Jay, for you.
Yeah.
Hits it out of the park or no? Sorry, man.
Yeah. Who's next, Ma?
All right, we have Toronto losing again. To
Listen, it's not good. At first, I was worried about my quarterback situation. I think I have that solved. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. But the rest of the team, Cooper putting up 1.3. Come on, man.
Okay, so the highest scoring quarterback in fantasy is Alex Smith. Second
Really?
highest.
Yeah.
You know who?
It is Alex Smith.
No, Smith is number one.
Smith is number one.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
Yeah.
Is it Brady? Is it Rodgers?
Nope.
Who's number two? No, Deshaun Watson.
Yep. By 4 points.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I put him on my bench.
Yep.
What I thought was it was the flash of the pan type of thing. Didn't even start to see. Yeah.
Toronto, I have to say I'm impressed with you losing Marshall and a kicker to IR in the same game.
Yep, I lost Marshall, who, again, you think to yourself, oh, Odell Beckham, he's hurt. Oh, no, my friend. I don't know what to say. The Nick Folk going out. This year is kind of just a down year for me in this league. I don't know what to say. I'm 4-1 in one league. I'm 3-2 in the other, and I'm 0-5 in this one. I don't know what. I can't buy a win. I'll drink out of the dog bowl if I win a game.
I love that he misses 3 field goals, and they're like, you, sir, look like you have some tendonitis in your leg, and that's going to be IR for the year. After that Hard Knocks fiasco of kicker with Aguayo.
And what I was looking at when I picked him up is I needed to pick up a kicker, and it was just the simple fact that New England's defense, up until last week, was giving up a lot of points and yards, and I said, maybe they'll get in field goal range a little bit. Oh, no. Thought too much of that one, my friend.
But the poor get poorer, buddy. Marshall going down. Ellington might have lost the starting
Montgomery, Allen. Everyone was throwing shade on him on Fantasy Football Focus on ESPN. Thanks, guys. That was a good pick for me. Or, pardon me, on Jones.
Yeah, Jones is a good pick.
Yeah, it was a great pickup, but then they kept throwing, he'll be splitting carries at the most is what they kept saying. Thanks, guys.
But no, honestly, Serrano, I think Pryor is going to come back strong.
Is Cooper? Do I play him? He's my second draft pick. My second draft pick's going to be on the bench. I picked him below his availability. He lasted longer than he should have. This is a disaster year for me. I have nothing good to say about this team. I'll continue to play, to be a member of the league, and that's it.
Let's look at Rich's side.
He's solid. He's solid up and down. Can he still? I mean, what? I don't know what's happening in Miami, but besides from that,
it's called Jay Cutler, my friend.
Yeah, it is.
Wouldn't be the first time with that sour puss on the sidelines.
He's probably hanging out with that offensive coordinator.
Everyone, a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and what do you think happens?
I will say Rich has a problem is he has a lot of zeros on his bench this week, and not because of buys.
Yeah, Galladay is a 0. Doyle is 0.
Some of those guys were hurt. He doesn't have great players, but Antonio Brown's a star. Stafford's been good, and he's just been finding a way to win. I mean, he's got three wins. That's 3 more than.
I mean, this week, Antonio Brown was targeted 19 times. Think about that, man.
So,
think he threw a tantrum enough?
I'm going to say this. They're beholden to diva wide receivers, and I think that's part of what's making Ben so frustrated there. But
Okay, so Serrano, are you drinking the Kool-Aid on Rich's team?
I'm going to say yes. I think Miller has been a little bit more consistent. I do think Brown is a stud, even though I don't necessarily think that it's helping their team. Crabtree has clearly eclipsed Cooper for the number 1 position. Look, I think that they're up there. I think in his division right now, yeah.
I would not. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I think Lamar Miller will eventually lose his job. I think he's got some very uncertain positions with like a couple of his flexes where they're very hit or miss. His second wide receiver is very hit or miss. There's nobody on the bench that I'm dying to put back in there. He didn't lose anybody to a bye. I mean, good score, good win. Take him as you get him. Just keep it churning. But I don't see him as somebody I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on.
Yeah, but
Keep
see,
it
at the
kicker as well.
same time, I kind of view Rich's team like we view Angela's team. They may not be the most active members of the league.
That means he doesn't think you're listening.
And you know, if you are listening, leave us a comment on iTunes and tell me you are listening.
Just a middle finger emoji.
But we have a bias against them, and we maybe hold it against them, and we would say, "Oh, well, this is the week they're coming back down to earth." He hasn't come back down to earth. He's put up solid scores all year. I think I'm buying it.
All right.
Okay. I think that's there's a little to be said for that. Solid scores all year. He's been okay. He's not in the top 5 scoring. He's like number 6 in scoring, I think.
That's around. We'll get to the rankings later on, but I'm
talking about just in overall point scoring.
Okay, because I base a lot of my rankings about how many points you score.
No, I know. That's
putting myself at the bottom, just to clarify. But
yeah, listen. Again, who am I to say anything when I'm 1-4? So what's next, Jamal?
All right, next we have Brian taking down Haley, 105 to 82.
This was looking close for a long time.
You know, I think if you were to say to me what one of the surprises of the year is, McNown puts up a 15-5. Everyone had the idea that team was going to be the worst team in football, and they play good defense and they run the ball, and they're clearly not. Not even close. They're middle of the league. I could see them being around 15.
I put it out there to him that I offered one of my 17 quarterbacks to him from McCown. And, he was like, no, I think I'll be okay. And I was dying all week to say, like, oh, you should have traded with me. It would have helped you beat Haley. And it didn't make a damn thing.
Make a difference. The biggest concern is the Odell situation right now with his team.
Yeah, that's a loss. He'd finally started turning around.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I look, it happened to the best guy. That's all I could say.
But the good news for Brian is what we've said all year is that he has some real great depth. I mean, Kamara looked like a real star the other day in that early game in London. He's got Derrick Henry, who has been up and down all of a sudden, but might eventually take over for Murray. He's got Coleman,
who had a little bit of an off week, who was actually in prior weeks performed really well.
Well, he got hurt. He missed the whole second half of the calf strain.
I didn't see that game. And what I'll say is I have him as a starter in one of my other leagues.
What about Haley Bench and Devontae Adams?
I don't blame her.
I mean, I know he had the concussion. I know, but he was pretty well announced that he was going to play.
Yeah, but who
does she sit?
He's come back and been used as a decoy before. Like Green Bay does that a lot.
Latavius Murray. That would be the one. Right.
Listen, it doesn't win her the week. There's no move she can make that wins her the week. It's just, and it's easy when you see 22 now. But you open up his numbers. He had one good week. Other than that, really had been kind of mediocre for the rest of the year. So I guess I get it.
Yeah, I mean, she had a disappointing week. I mean, you were really hoping for more for Tyrod.
Yeah.
You make a homer pick. But
all right,
Brian's not a buy. It's not a bad backup.
Rachel, if you need a quarterback, I know a guy.
Well, let's get a trade going. Maybe like a 3-way trade? JT?
I don't feel like you need to be involved in this.
Three-way trade. That would be historic for the league, guys. 3 ways? Oh, man.
Well,
I would even try to approve it.
Hey, Brian now has won 3 in a row after his 0-2 start. And even though Odell goes down, I think he's got to be feeling okay. He gets his regular quarterback back next week. He's got a couple solid bench options to throw in there. And once he gets through the Powell injury, I think he's got a good-looking squad.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, the Mind Creep numbers could increase if Andrew Luck comes back, and we never know when that's going to be.
If he comes back.
Ooh, listen to that one.
I mean, look, would you have drafted him knowing what you know now?
Yeah.
Andrew Luck? Absolutely. Without a doubt in my mind. Are you kidding me? We've been watching the same league. His organization is a train wreck. He had the worst GM in football who just drafted him skill positions, and the defense was a sieve. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
So when do you think
if you were to start a team today and say you have one pick to start a team with,
when do you think he's coming back?
One overall, Andrew Luck. Without a doubt in my mind.
First week of November.
So with us, 3 more weeks, 4 more weeks?
3.
How many weeks would that? So that's 8
Actually,
weeks.
That's Halloween, so it's not, but November would actually be 4 weeks. But
all right, well, whatever 3 weeks from now is, I'm assuming it's 3.
So missing half the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's not too many players that play. There's not too many players that play all year.
If I were the Colts, I would even consider just tanking, seeing if someone wants to trade up in the draft, build your team again, because right now their team isn't really good enough.
Okay.
I mean, Brissett is pressured to the nth degree.
So do you want? Let's talk about their schedule. Okay.
Okay.
Week 10, that would be playing Houston. Week 9, Houston. Week 10, Pittsburgh. Then a bye. Then going to Tennessee. Then at Jacksonville. Then you get a week off with Buffalo defense. So then you have to play Denver and Baltimore in the playoffs.
It doesn't even matter. I don't care. We're talking fantasy. We're not talking winning games. I still think you can put up numbers in garbage time against those teams.
I'm talking those were some pretty stout pass defenses.
Some of those are pretty crummy, man. Tennessee.
Here's what I'm going to say about it. It's not necessarily the question of whether are they in playoff contention if he comes back. Are they in any hurry to bring him back? That's what I'm saying. You paid him what is he receiving? The second biggest contract in football. Are you in a hurry to bring him back? Because if you're not in the playoffs, I don't know if I bring him back any earlier than needed.
I mean, I think Rich picked him up in like the 10th round, but still, I think that's too early.
Brissett has actually been surprisingly good. I actually think with a halfway, like an offensive line that didn't look like the calendar that I used to strain spaghetti in, I think that he could actually be a decent quarterback.
Colander?
Yeah.
I said calendar.
I did not. Did I roll my eyes right at JT because I meant to?
Let's go to your last week. The lucky win for Tamala.
Yeah, Joel loses a heartbreaker. I mean, that defense was killing me. That was absolutely killing me. The closest game of the week.
Anything out of freaking Sammy Watkins, and she probably takes it.
Oh, that's
Although, can I just tell you how much I hate West? I mean, bolstering 2 touchdowns from Hunt.
Yeah. Is he still the number 1 running back in football, though?
Yeah, probably.
He is.
What round did you get him in again? Just to clarify here,
like the 8th.
The 8th.
I mean, Tamala,
football.
You deserved one of these. You deserved one of these. You'd had 2 weeks in a row going against the top scoring team and losing. A fine score. You didn't necessarily have a great score, but Brady was way off. Hunt was back down to earth. You were fine.
But I think I was in the top half of the league though for scores.
Oh yeah,
you were, but you were the last one.
Yeah.
And but that's with Brady putting up a 13, which is not a typical week for him at all.
All right. So can I ask you a question about my team? Cole Beasley. I haven't played him all year. He's looked terrible all year. This was his first.
He's Dallas's best receiver. Yeah,
but they haven't been throwing him. They've been throwing the Dez more this year.
By far. He didn't even have a great week this week. He just caught 2 touchdowns.
That's all you need, buddy.
Yeah, but come on, that's not going to happen. He hasn't caught any other touchdowns all year. Hey. And the most catches he's ever had in a game is 24, and the most yards he's ever had in a game is 33.
Hey,
I don't think you're talking about him as somebody to play.
Projected for a 16-game season, 32 touchdowns.
32 touchdowns, but projected for the first 5 games.
We're going with that?
What?
I don't think you're thinking of playing him at all, and I think you're silly if you are. I think you found your second receiver. You hit a gold mine with your boy Will Fuller. With that offense, that's much better. Much better chance.
But
I mean, you have a number. You have the number 2 receiver in what's looking to be the best offense in football.
But I mean, I don't know. With Beasley, I just thought PPR. He's
not catching any passes.
Not getting the looks, man. And
No.
Dak has been looking good. So even during a loss, it's one of the things that we go into the NFL and we say winners and losers. But when you actually look at it, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'll take that loss any day.
And you've done your homework, and you have plenty of players. You got Gronk to slide in when he comes back. You got Freeman, who's going to be your second star receiver or wide running back, and you've got yourself a chance with this Mike Williams character when he comes back to play. You'll be just fine.
Yeah, the rankings will show some of this sandbagging that's going on right here.
She was really bummed waking up to see that. She didn't make any major mistakes. She played everything perfect for her lineup. She's probably got some moves to make it if she wants to drop people now, but that sucked. Sammy frickin' Watkins, what a joke he is.
Yeah. Sammy China Doll Watkins or that guy? 2 first draft picks, by the way.
But next week he'll put up like a 20.
Maybe. He's combined.
The Bills were lucky to get a second round pick for him.
He's combined for 14 in 4 weeks, and he has 26 in the other. So he's awful. I wouldn't even play him.
Never drank the Kool-Aid on him from day one.
All right, let's move on to the rankings. All right, so these are our Week 5 rankings. And in number 12.
Uh-oh.
Big moment for you, Scarano. Big moment for you, buddy.
A little shaky here, Tamala. Uh-oh, there we go. Well, look at that now.
I think you could change your team name.
I've considered it. I don't necessarily think we have some guys going on IR here. I'm pretty sure that it's just drop. I'll continue to play just to be a team player. The only positive aspect you could look at is Aaron Jones probably is a player to maybe see sometime. It depends on Montgomery coming back, and are they going to split? Who knows? There we go.
Ugly, buddy. Hey, Casey's out of the basement.
I put him at 11 myself.
Yeah, it'd be
Look, I think it looks pretty solid. I'd look for Parker to maybe do a little better than that.
Do you think he plays Ed Dixon again?
Yes.
I think he has to.
Why not go with a hot hand?
Do you think Ed Dixon puts up 20 points the rest of the season?
No.
It depends. I mean, there's no Olsen at all.
Yeah, but some of those were so deep.
Okay.
5 for 175.
But
how
honestly,
many touchdowns did he have?
the passes that Olsen are going to Funchess and McCaffrey.
Okay. Can't always throw to the tight end.
Scarano, he didn't even catch a touchdown.
That's what I'm saying. So give him a touchdown in a big game. 20. It's reasonable.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like him now. You're JT.
Yeah, there's not much more to say about this.
Look, Bryant's going to have a big.
20 points on the bench, though.
No, I'm done. I'm done with Martavis. He's had one good week this year. He's been awful. I'm done with him. Who wants him? I'll trade him right now.
Oh, I'd definitely take him because if you trade him, definitely going to put up a big week.
My real question is Ben kind of just throwing in the towel himself?
All right.
More than happy to unload Martavis.
So
I am not playing him this week.
You're not playing Watson this week.
I thought you said Martavis. I currently have Watson in this week. Yes.
Okay. Are you keeping 2 kickers?
I'm thinking 2 kickers, 2 defenses, 3 quarterbacks. Let's just go crazy.
All right. And that's why we're number 10.
Buddy, I haven't done this and I've been losing just fine without it.
All right, Rachel. I think we should just change it from number 9 to number Rachel.
Oh. I will say this in just looking at it in just a quick glance here. You know, all those buys sitting right there, man.
Yeah, no, she got a lot of buys.
Like, I mean, I see a 22 and 4 buys.
If Jordan Reed was able to get healthy over the bye, I think that definitely changes the look of her team.
Yeah.
You know, I think Brait is a wonderful second tight end, and I mean, I wouldn't think she'd drop him. I don't know why she still has Hooper on her team, but
a lot of tight ends. I like the strategy. I'm always for acquiring assets.
Notice we're at the bottom of the league. You know? Keep it coming. That's pretty funny. Notice we're at the bottom, guys.
Yeah, ready?
I believe we had a tie at number 7.
Okay.
We didn't.
No.
So we have Joelle next. Look, her team made me nervous. You know, Cobb did not look healthy.
The goose egg from your boy Sammy.
Yeah.
To think Bills fans are upset when they got rid of him.
Yeah, I mean she's scoring an all right amount of points. You know, she's scored more than Rachel, than me, than Casey, than Michael Thomas.
Oh, I have her ranked higher than
Lano.
this.
She's
I have
actually
her ranked higher than this.
I don't know though. Just that's a schedule loss. That's a tough one. She could have beat a bunch of guys, but at the same time, you know, Tamala had some really rough ones a couple weeks before it. So she just needs to sneak out a win here, and I think she deserves one of these times.
And honestly, out of all the rankings, I think she has the most to be disappointed with her score, with where she's ranked.
Yeah,
I guess so. She's only 2-3.
All right. Mike is up to number 7 now.
With 3 wins.
3 wins. Wait, I could be corrected on this, and I'm going to check. Lowest point total?
Does he have the lowest point total? No.
I'm checking right now.
Yes, he does. You are absolutely right. He has the lowest point total in the league.
Right now, I'm just checking to make sure.
No, you're right, Scrano. I just looked at it.
It is with the off week and the bye week coming early where we didn't have the bye players, and he had both Ajayi and Evans and Landry all on a bye that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he also has had the lowest points scored against him.
Putting him at 3-2, you're saying?
Yeah, that's really helped his cause. He's got the lowest points, but also lowest points scored against him. That's kind of weird.
It's very strange. Back to the more progressive point scoring system.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, as you'll see at the end, it's not making much of a difference.
All right. So we didn't have a number 6. We had a tie at number 5. First up, we have Rich, who's, you know, solid. He's like you said, he's got some injuries on his bench. And I mean, he'll be doing much better once Luck, although Stafford hasn't been terrible.
Yeah, all good. Who'd he tie with?
Brian.
Yeah. Who, if it was going to lose a week, kind of would have thought that maybe this could have been one of them here. Cousins, Kamara out going with McNown. I would have thought he just would have lost this week, and he didn't.
Even with Odell going down, I like his squad more than I like Rich's.
Well, and he's also an active member of the waiver wire. Abdullah kind of had a little bit of an off game there. I like his team.
Look, I don't think it's going to happen, but he could lose Elliott sometime this week.
Think so?
Ooh.
If it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen this week or next.
I like a change his ranking right there.
Well, we don't know though. They could just be like, no, you got to wait.
After the Tom Brady debacle and all the trouble that happened with that, I just don't trust that the NFL can suspend people anymore, period. Until a collective bargaining agreement comes in. I just don't believe it.
All right.
Next
up, we had a tie at 3.
Ooh.
So first we have Myself,
Putting up a good score even with 3 big players out. I think you're gonna be all right.
Gronk. Oh, you know what's funny is Olsen goes out on him, and it's not even a big deal.
Well, he didn't have Olsen, so
yeah, I just picked up Olsen this week.
he just picked him up.
All right. Well, my bad. I thought he had 3 tight ends. So hold on here.
No,
Kelsey.
No.
Kelsey and Graham.
He
Just
had
2.
2.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And of course, I tied with Angela, who
Climbing up the ranks.
Yeah.
Huge week. Dak looked good.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean
That's
that's
hard to argue with. We had her ranked so low in the beginning of the year, and she has just proven us wrong week after week after week.
And I mean
Just
that's
a quick
with,
question.
Williams and Shepard giving her
I
4.
have a question here, and I don't have it in front of me, and I'm sure it could be answered. Is Ertz the number 1 tight end this year?
Yes.
I think so. I'll
Think
check
so.
it out.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
She has the number 1 tight end and the number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I could do it.
All right. Next we have Jake.
In the top spot.
Second.
And like I said, I don't think he had a good week this week. He had 2 huge scores. That helped. His team scares me.
Oh, yeah. They're undefeated right now.
And I think Breida was a great pickup by him. Kind of flying under the radar.
I do too. I have to start to wonder if he's going to have a debate between playing Breeze and Wentz every week.
It's interesting. I'd probably lean towards Wentz, but I've always been hot on him.
Breeze
Look, I can
averaged
only hope
21. Wentz averaged 21. They
There
have
it
the
is,
same
man.
average.
There it is.
You know, I can only hope that JT that he comes to you for advice.
Well,
you just
if he
go with
comes
your
to me
gut.
for advice, it's going to be pick up a 3rd quarterback because that's the way to go.
All right, and still in the number 1 spot, even taking
Wow.
is Colin.
Pretty tough to take a loss. Loss.
hang
Still
in
hang
there.
on. Listen, I
Interesting.
think the Clay injury has a little bit there. I just don't ever believe Tyler Eifert will ever play football on a regular basis.
And I kind of, Diggs came away injured. I didn't hear much about it, but
Right now
Could be
they're saying groin injury, kind of just had to do some stretching. He finished the game, so they think he's going to be okay.
That looks promising. I liked it when they had probable and questionable. It did differentiate a little bit here.
so now let me ask you this. Gurley had a bad game and he lost his first game. I was not completely sold on Gurley all year. I think do we think this is going to be a trend, or do you think it was just one bad week?
I think the Rams' offense still looks good, and I think
Bad week
because of
against
that,
a great defense. He was going against a great defense. He gets another tough week against Jacksonville, but then he has a much easier stretch for a couple weeks.
I think there's an example that shows you how coaching can just completely turn a team around.
All right, so this was our breakdown. We all had JT10.
Yeah.
We all had Haley 9. We all had Casey 11. We all had Scarano 12.
We all had Colin 1.
We all had 1.
And really only very minor discrepancies in any other one. The biggest discrepancy between Tomala ranking himself as 5th. Barf.
Okay, but we'll get to that about why I did that.
You have just your team out since the start. You have the second highest score on points scored.
I do, but look, I'm third in my division. But look at Angela's score. She scored 567 points in her division, and her next is still in the 400s.
Who cares? That has nothing to do with whether or not your team is better.
All you do is play your players to score points. That's all you do. You don't
throw these weird stats
scoring or anything like that. It's just
you try and sandbag your squad. You always hate high expectations.
I think that's the reason he's going to lose to Colin. or Jake or whomever. It's nothing to do with that. It's because of his low expectations towards himself.
Tamala, you have the second most points against you in the league, and you have the second most points scored. And you're still one of the top squads. I mean, you're fine.
All you can do is play your players and accumulate points. That's all you do. You try to get the most points every week.
All right.
All right.
So this is the composite scoring. Really, the only difference where it would be is Brian would be down a spot and Rich would actually be up a spot.
Which doesn't affect the playoffs at all. So yet again, another week where this is not making much of a difference.
See how it plays out. I just think that maybe it could do like one, if it could just do one playoff spot or one divisional, one bye week, just one, it might be worth it.
It could. I'm not saying it's impossible, but right now it's just not making much of a difference. I will say the way you can determine if it's going right now is, just look for that squad that makes a couple place difference. I think just one place difference, it's going to be hard to convince people. You got to get somebody who's had a few of those weeks.
But you know where it would make a difference. If we didn't have division.
It would for sure, because we would be ranking you and Angela would be swapped.
I do have another question though, that where it would make a difference, and this is just me looking at the stats here. We're looking at our league this year, and we're looking at some teams at the top, and we're looking like us, JT, myself, and Casey at the bottom. If we're more of a middle of the pack race, let's say our teams weren't as much of a train wreck, and I know it's kind of a hypothetical, would be, could be, should be. If our teams weren't as much of a train wreck, would that tighten things up?
It could. I know Michael ended up doing it last year, and it affected things a little bit, but I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if this helps or hurts my cause to say that it's not making a huge difference. I guess you could argue either way, but what do we got for the next week, Tamala?
All right, man.
All right. You want to get into some previews now?
Let's do it real quick. Let's knock them out.
All right. Colin playing against Casey.
Colin against Casey.
This
is not what you want to see.
Look for Colin to take that one.
Yeah, I think we've had enough analysis.
Bet you I can get 4 out of 5 of these ones right away.
I mean, Colin does lose. He loses AJ Green.
He's got to find a tight end and maybe another receiver. And it looks that there's a good chance that Casey will have to find 2 more receivers. Which Casey's on his bench, whereas I don't know if Colin really wants to play Allen Hurns or Jaron Brown.
Yep. All right. Fair enough. We all say Colin, though. Who's next?
All right. Next we have Haley taking on JT.
An interesting one.
JT, I think you're going to get a win this week.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that Deshaun Watson's going to put up like 9 points, and I think Russell Wilson's going to put up like a 60.
But see, the problem is Buffalo is on a bye this week.
Ooh.
And Seattle. Yeah, that's 4 Haley's players, and I'm just losing Russell Wilson. So Tamala, I agree with you. Scarano, I don't believe Russell Wilson is putting up 60. He's not playing.
I'm sorry. I just picked some money. You might want to play him then.
All right. So I think JT's going to be able to sneak out his second win.
We'll see.
We got Brian and Jake.
We can go there, Brian and Jake.
Yeah, my bad. I'm just going by my list here.
2 streaking teams. Brian 3 in a row.
I don't see Jake losing.
5 in a row.
Don't see him losing. And I blame Breeze.
Is Julio coming back? Is he supposed to?
It hasn't predicted for 15 points. I'm just looking at the predicted total right now.
Neither one of them is got to. Well, actually, I take that back. Brian is greatly affected by the buys. He loses Zeke and Dez, and then to have Odell go down and Powell to be out. I mean, his squad looks completely different than it could next week. But like we're saying with his depth, it's still a serviceable team.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people
I
couldn't
still
sustain
think Jake.
that. I think I'd take Jake too, just because of all the guys that Brian has lost. But he serves enough of squad that he's given himself a chance still.
I'm gonna go with Brian here.
Wow.
Ooh. Who's next?
All right, next we got Rich taking on Joel.
Yep, that's what I got here.
Yep.
You know, Joel needs to find another tight end. And really, Rich isn't. I mean, besides Cincinnati, he's not really affected by the buys at all. His team.
Yeah, he wouldn't be playing Jeremy Hill, but Joe Mixon, that's one for him. And Kenny Stills is still kind of a bummer.
But just getting the one isn't much to really say at this point.
Yeah, you can't be too worried about any of that.
I see Deshaun Jackson having a huge game against Arizona.
Ooh.
I think Patrick Peterson's going to be all over Evans, and that's just going to the second receiver against Arizona's put up huge numbers all year.
I like it. I like the analysis, sir.
All right, who's the final matchup? Who do you have this week? Or no, wait, we have two more. I'm sorry.
Two more, sir.
Go on.
Mike and Ange.
We got Michael Thomas and Angela.
Ooh, Ange losing Dak and having Eli against the Denver D.
Yeah.
This might be an L4. That might be an L4. They call it the no-fly zone for a reason, my friend.
But you know what? I mean, I don't know if Ange is watching this or not, but like, who knows? Like, she's gonna maybe at this point she'll actually drop Sproles, who might not even come back next year. And she'll pick up somebody. Like, she'll pick up.
And you better listen. Get on that waiver wire.
From the Hogan from Cleveland. And he'll
I know somebody who has some quarterbacks here, Ange. You might want to have a talk.
I know a guy too. Who you got this week, Tamala?
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, I got Scarano.
I got to admit, I would kind of love it if he snuck out his
Call the bye week, my friend.
Call the bye week.
Call the bye week, my friend.
I've
got some moves to make.
You don't even want any Lacey in there anyway.
It won't be the same team you're looking at. I am going to make some moves here. I will say that. It's just that I don't see myself coming close on this one.
No.
So
I don't either.
Part of the problem is a lot of my players are playing at 4:00.
That doesn't make them mad.
But no, that just ruins the whole day. Because like, even though you don't have players playing,
I know that.
You invent issues.
This is nonsense.
You invent issues.
This is nonsense.
Like, oh, I don't know. Some of my guys have to play and it's cloudy out. Absurd.
Who's got the better record? It's working for me.
Dude, you give bulletin board material to yourself.
It's actually not the best. It's some good self-motivation.
Absurd. All right, Scarano.
Let's take it away.
I believe it's your turn.
Well, before I begin, I'm going to start here with a little snack here. That's NFL official here. Well, I'm going to stir this up a little bit. And have one. And it reminds me of what the great new American pastime is. It's not baseball, by the way. It's still the NFL. But our new one is to apologize. See, Cam Newton made some remarks that probably weren't the best in the world. But then again, I didn't like it. But, some people said it wasn't that big of a deal. Do I feel it was a heartfelt apology? I don't. But then you know what happened? The woman who reported it, she made some remarks the other day on her Twitter account, and she had to apologize for that.
Wait, hold on.
I wonder if we accepted the apologies from Riley Cooper, Harvey Weinstein this week, Ray Rice, Bill Clinton, and the most important one, Justin Bieber. I don't know, guys. Does it make you feel better to watch your TV and to know, hey, the guy who just said it apologized? You know, maybe we should just get over it. And it's time for us to have a little bit thicker skin right here. By the way, guys, this stuff is awful. If that offends you, sorry.
Oh, it offends me for different reasons.
All right. The one thing I'll say about the reporter is, no, she should not have tweeted what she tweeted. But wasn't that from like 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And I kind of feel like that leads into victim shaming. You know, two wrongs don't make a right. So I mean, I thought that was just kind of that whole situation. But
I mean, to me, the whole thing is just dumb. If he knows what he's doing, he knows to not be that stupid. He's known this reporter before. He's just being an idiot. Cam doesn't have the leeway to be that much of a fool. That's a dumb comment. He knows better than that. He's not that stupid. And then all he's got to do is just come out and just say sorry. He's just stupid. He just consistently does things that put himself in crosshairs.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not even saying they're all that wrong, but like just bah.
No,
I don't want to hear about him anymore. Go away.
Yeah. I mean, but look, he went out, he balled out. You know, he keeps on playing like that. Things like this go away.
I agree. Listen, it upsets Grano so much he quit the feed.
Yeah, he always does.
Yeah, but we're still going.
All right, guys. So I hope you guys have a good week. Good luck. Make sure find us on iTunes, download, maybe rate us, please. And if not, we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
All right.